Good afternoon and welcome to the Bellefleur Tire Shop Grand Falls Rapids pregame show. It is the final one of the 2024-25 Grand Falls Rapids season, which means that it is not the end, but it is indeed the end. The West Kent Steamers are in town to face off against the Grand Falls Rapids for the very last time. Also, sorry about my voice, if you're just hearing it now. I have been feeling a little under the weather the last few days, and my voice has not been the best. But nonetheless, we're going to have a very entertaining show for you this afternoon. So we'll dive into the tale of the tape. Final time this season, the Grand Falls Rapids 15-25, 2-7 on the season. The West Kent Steamers, on the other hand, 28-14, 4-1. Damon Engelhut leading the Steamers in scoring in all three facets, 26 goals, 37 assists for 63 total points. On the other side, it is Jonah Laird with 25 goals, 39 assists, and 64 total points. Only 1 point separating the two. Thank you very much. We'll win that battle. On the other hand, the goals for the Steamers, 193-171. That is a plus 20 goal differential. Not really that it makes a big deal. The Grand Falls Rapids being outscored 190-151 on the season. And then it comes down to the power play stats. And honestly, we're going to get into that as well. But just to go over them quickly, the Steamers have the first ranked power play and penalty kill in the Eastlink North Division at 23.2% on the power play and 82.2% on the penalty kill. The Grand Falls Rapids, on the other hand, 17.6%, which ranks 6th in power play in the Eastlink North Division, and their penalty kill, 78.1%. So before we dive any further into what this game means or any sort of thing like that, I want to take a moment to address the news that came out the other day regarding the Miramichi Timberwolves. So if you have not heard about that, I will give you a little bit of an update on what transpired. And I'll read out the full statement as well from the league, and because this does involve the Grand Falls Rapids here. So the statement from the league reads, the Miramichi Timberwolves acknowledge the recent decision by Hockey Canada's appeals committee regarding the appeal involving our organization and the Grand Falls Rapids. This situation from our administrative error led to an ineligible player participating in 7 games. Our organization firmly believes the appeal process itself, along with the procedural issuing surrounding the case, should have been enough to rule in our favor. Unfortunately, Hockey Canada determined that despite the concerns, this sanction must be upheld, resulting in forfeiting of the games in question and awarding the points to the opposing teams, including Grand Falls. So basically with that, what happened was, for the first 7 games of the regular season, and this, we are going to go into a little bit more depth on this as well, but the first few games of the regular season, Miramichi was seemingly playing with an ineligible player. Now, they did not name who it was, and I'm not going to sit here and speculate on who it was either. That's just not my cup of tea. If you want to go and do some research for yourself, you can. That's all the power to you. But basically what this did for the Miramichi Timberwolves is it gave the Rapids 2 points, which is not really going to help them. But at the same time, we also kind of, in a way, locked in a divisional matchup. Now, this was something that was talked about for a little while, and it wasn't really public knowledge, so to speak. But, you know, people had heard rumblings, and nobody was sure what was really going to going on. But now we finally get the confirmation that Miramichi has been stripped of 14 points. Miramichi has been stripped of points through the first 7 games of that season. So this does not change the statistics. So any sort of player stats or, team stats will remain. but those games will now, instead of going to Miramichi, they will go towards the opposing teams as well. So it doesn't really help Grand Falls all that much, but it does help other teams like Campbellton, like West Kent, Edmundston, which they didn't really need the points anyway. They kind of won the regular season league title already. Doesn't really matter. But this is a little bit of an interesting matchup as well, because this means that we are most likely going to be seeing a Miramichi Edmundston first round series. Now, this is going to be a good one, because last year, if you remember correctly, the Miramichi Timberwolves knocked out the Edmundston Blizzard. And though under the circumstances, obviously, it's not a great way for this series to be determined, this is going to be a heck of a series. On the other side of that, however, the West Kent Steamers are here, and they are only 3 points ahead of the Campbellton Tigers. This race doesn't really impact West Kent that much, but I wanted to talk about how much it's really going to affect the first round matchups, because we could have seen a Campbellton West Kent series. We could have seen an Edmundston Campbellton series, but now we're most likely going to be seeing a Miramichi Edmundston series, which I think is going to be very interesting, and one that you're going to want to watch. Now, what does this have to do with the Rapids? Of course, they got the 2 points, which means that they are at 39 points on the season now, 15, 25, 2 and second, which is far, or 15, 25, 2 and 7, which is far from their worst record in franchise history. And it came down to the wire, basically. The Rapids were only 11 points out of the playoffs at this point. It's too bad that it wasn't a little bit earlier in the season, because that may have given them a little bit of a momentum boost. However, that's in the past. It's neither here nor there. This matchup this evening is what it all comes down to. It is the final game of the Rapids' home season. They have 2 more games against Campbellton and West Kent next weekend. But I want to take a moment and really focus on how important this game is. Last game, obviously, you saw the drama at the end of the game. Neither team wanted to leave the ice. Tensions were very hot, and it kind of set the tone for what this game is going to be coming up as well. I think this is going to be a high-pressured one. It's no secret, no surprise at all, because these two teams in the beginning don't like each other, and tensions boil over, right? Even from the game before, it was hostile, and obviously, given at the end of the game, last game, we saw what unfolded there. So I would expect this game to be a very highly physical, very high scoring, epic, dramatic, whatever way you want to toss the dice. Somebody is going to walk away very happy from this, and somebody is going to walk away not so happy. But I know this for a fact, that this is going to be one of the best games of the year. Not just the fact that, these two teams are already teams that hate each other and can't stand each other. It's the fact that this is going to be a big fight feel. Think about Tyson and Holyfield going to round 7. I know that made absolutely no sense, but this is going to be a big fight. And this game is going to be, nonetheless, one of the most, if not the most entertaining game that we've seen all season. Now, in terms of how the special teams are going to play out on this, obviously Grand Falls has been quite a bit weaker on the penalty kill and the power play. I don't want to think about those stats, though, because not only are they not really a huge factor, but in a situation like this, you don't really need to worry about how is your penalty kill, how is your power play, because this is the final game of the season, our final home game of the season. Yes, may help them a little bit, but statistically, it won't really do much for them. This is the preview of the beginning of the next era for the Grand Falls Rapids. What do I mean by that? I've been saying it for the last few weeks that this is going to be the core group of players moving forward into next season. enjoy the start of something big, because you never know what is going to happen with this group. They've been fantastic the last few games. 5-3, 1-1 in their last 10, and 4-1 in their last 5. That right there is impressive enough as it is. And if that doesn't get you excited for next season, I don't know what will. But me personally, I'm super hyped for everything that's coming. This is also the end of a current era, because you have quite a few guys who are leaving the team in Slivka, Martel, Brennan, Morrison, and McWilliam. Obviously, the players who have been here the longest, Morrison and McWilliam, they've been here for the last 3 seasons and have become fan favorites here in Grand Falls. So has Brennan, and in recent games as well, both Martel and Slivka have started to really shine through for the Rapids and have had a lot of really good breakthrough moments as well. So I just want to take a moment and talk about them too. This is an era where, the Rapids, we're starting to see the future, but in order to see the future, you have to appreciate what you already had. And I think, without a doubt, hands down, these 5 players, compared to any other players, especially the 3 that have been here the longest, if you want to talk the definition of class, the definition of hard work, look no further than Morrison, McWilliam, and Brennan. Those 3, over the past 3 seasons, getting to know them has been an absolute treat. Hard workers on the ice, fantastic personalities off the ice, some of the coolest, funniest, smartest people I've ever met. And to say, next year that they won't be here it's strange. It's strange in a way. And it's different from things like that before, right? You had guys like Jean-Simon Belanger, Adam Fallow, just guys like that, right? That you really got attached to. Kyle Foreman was another one. But in this current era of Rapids hockey, it almost just doesn't feel real. You know what I mean? But like I said, in order to appreciate the future, you have to appreciate what you had. And when it comes to personalities, when it comes to work ethic, when it comes to, just being the best and leaving it all out there, I think 100% these 3 are the pure definition of that. And I'm so lucky to have had the chance to, and all 5 of them really have been the definition of the work ethic. But I've been so lucky to get to know all of these guys over the past year or past 3 years, depending on who you're looking at. And it's been an absolute honor and a privilege getting to know you guys, getting to watch you play on the ice, and getting to watch you grow, not only as hockey players, but as people as well. And I wanted to personally, on behalf of not just the organization, but the fan base, thank you all for what you've done for not just the town of Grand Falls, but for the Grand Falls Rapids. And, and furthering your careers through this team and creating endless memories that we will all look back on very fondly. Now, I mentioned the heat index as well that we were going to do, and we are going to do it, but it's going to be something a little bit different. Now, obviously, keeping with the theme of our overage players, we are going to do, for the first and probably only time in this show's history, a 5-player heat index, which involves, you guessed it, Cole McWilliam, Nick Brennan, Will Morrison, Paul Slivka, and Matthew Martel. No introduction needed. No extra stats needed. These guys just, again, work their tails off, and the entire fan base is super, super proud of them, myself included. I'm very excited to see what happens in the next stage of their careers, where you go from there, how, whether you decide to keep through hockey or not. I'm excited to watch very closely on how your careers go. But thank you, all 5 of you, for everything you've done for this organization, for this town, and, for the fan base. And above all else, once a Rapid, always a Rapid. Never forget that. With that being said, we are going to take you into the final question of the game for this Grand Falls Rapids pregame show. This Bellefleur Tire Shop Grand Falls Rapids pregame show. It's going to take a little bit of time getting used to it, that we're not going to be doing this for a little while. But so the question of the game for today, if you had to pick one standout moment from this past season, and that's the 2024-25 season, if you could pick one standout moment that will stick with you for probably the rest of your life as a hockey fan, as a Rapids fan, what would that be? We'll share your answers on the Bellefleur Tire Shop Grand Falls Rapids postgame show, where we are going to have a chat with a couple of the overagers, and we're going to get an update on where they're headed next, what's in the next chapter for them, and so much more. We're going to talk all things Rapids coming up on the postgame show. You're not going to want to miss this. It's going to be a very fun, very exciting, and, hopefully very long show. So, without further ado, thank you very much for watching and tuning into this edition of the Bellefleur Tire Shop Grand Falls Rapids pregame show. Thank you very much for tuning along all season long and joining me on this epic adventure through this Grand Falls Rapids season. And I'm looking forward to not only the postgame show, but the off-season series, where we have a lot of really fun stuff planned, which I'm very excited to announce soon. So you're going to want to keep glued to the channel. Hit the little bell notification if you haven't already. Hit the subscribe button and share with all your friends. And we will see you for the Bellefleur Tire Shop Grand Falls Rapids post-game show coming up directly after the game, where there's going to be a lot of fun stuff planned. You're not going to want to miss it.